to another episode of Fixing Bugs and Stuff. We're going to go over this 1964 Beetle. So the customers asked me about working on this Beetle, and all they want to do at this point is basically have the car run, stop, and go. And that's what we're going to work on at this phase. And I just want to go over the Beetle itself. It had a paint job. I'm not too sure how long ago. Paint job, I would give it like a B plus or maybe a B minus. There's some areas that I see that should have been done a little better, but I'm really not going to focus on that too much. I can show you some problem areas. If you're curious, stuff like here, you see that paint peeling. Hopefully it's not too bright. Peeling off of this here. That should have been better prepped. There's many different areas. I see some drips and that kind of thing. If you want a perfectly painted Beetle, but that's not what this is. It looks good up close, but it could have been much better. Anyway, for the paint job and everything else, I would have spent more time on the engine too, as well, and making this look really good. This looks like it's a single port. I'm not sure if it's 1600 or 1500, I don't know. It does have an upgraded alternator. Let's see if I can just back off with the light here for a second. But again, I would have done more to the engine just to make it more presentable. I mean, did all this work on the outer appearance or the shell of the vehicle. Why not do just as good as work on the engine as well? This is my opinion. Let's see what else. One thing I noticed, this is funny too, this is old. These tires are really old. And back in the day, they used to add studs. You can see the holes here, the hole there. They're everywhere. Used to add studs to these for in the wintertime. You can get a hold or get better grip during the snow. It's the old style. Of course, this is the 5 wide lug. Surprisingly, the doors shut pretty good. Those are done pretty nice. There's already been some mats in here for noise reduction. They left me a seat, which is great. Everything else in here looks pretty decent, paint-wise. So I haven't really found anything in there, but the idea, or the goal is to get this, again, running, stopping, going. I'm going to shift through the gears. I'm going to check the transmission. We're going to go through all that in this video. So the first thing we're going to address is wiring. I don't want to hook up the battery and then find out that I'm starting electrical fire for any apparent reason. As you can see here, not all of the wiring or all of the wires are connected properly. There's stuff that's missing, like you have this one that's dangling. I don't know why. This one here is dangling too. There's nothing on the ignition switch there either. So how am I going to start it? So I definitely have to go over the wiring here. Most importantly, I have to pull up the schematic, make sure I have to ohm it out. Basically find continuity and find the ends just to make sure it's correct. I have a schematic for it. I can go through that. But that'll be number one. And once I'm done, I'll show you what it's going to look like afterwards. So I worked on the electrical here. There's stuff that's still hanging in there and still loose. I just made sure that the power was connected to the ignition switch and to the light switch here. You can see it. A lot of your main power goes through your light switch, then it goes into your fuse block, and then it goes into your ignition. So just be sure that you have the right gauge wire for that. It's pretty thick. This is coming straight, almost straight from the battery, but not exactly from the battery. So it's best to have a schematic here and then have a chart here that tells you what each item is in the schematic. That's very helpful. Instead of guessing, a lot of this, it's pretty much the same on all the cars. But again, make sure you get the right year. And then once I sorted that out, I went to the engine and I made sure that I hooked up like the alternator alternator to be hooked up properly. Added some wire that goes to the starter as well. Hooked up the coil, and that's fine. I tested with a test light, make sure we're getting power. Okay, we're taking a closer look at the engine here. As you can see, distributor has, it seems like the customer said that it ran this way, and I assume that this is how it was put in. So I think somebody took out distributor drive gear and they installed it 180 degrees the wrong way. So because of that, I'm going to have to pull this out and then pull out the fuel pump too, and then I can pull out the drive gear or distributor drive gear and then turn it 180 degrees correct. So that way this is facing this way, which is the proper way to do it. So that'll be the next thing I do on this engine. Just doing an overlook. Back here, you can see it's missing some tin. Missing the rear tin in the back there. That's not good. I would definitely drop the engine and put the rear tin in. It's kind of hard to put the rear tin in the way it is now. It's also missing the gasket in the back. There's a gasket that goes in the back firewall. It's missing that. Let's see what else. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what this fabric paper. I don't know. And all this stuff is falling apart. You can see the tar board is coming apart. So I'll definitely suggest to replace that to the customer. Sometimes what happens is the tar board will fall apart and then it gets sucked into your fan. And next thing you know, your car's overheating. You don't know why. It's because you got tar board in the back of this. Let's see what else. You notice this has a spacer on here. It's just to clear. It's a little bright. This is just to clear the alternator. That's why it's a little taller. This is a 30 pick. It's a different carburetor. It's a round bowl. It's empty. I don't know how you guys feel about empty, but it's empty. And it doesn't have a shut-off solenoid in it. That's one thing. I wish it did. That's all right. We'll work with it. See what else you can find. Looks like the fuel pump's brand new. New exhaust. I'm going to go underneath. Take a closer look. I did, in the meantime, pull out the spark plugs. I regapped them. They were way off. And I also did a valve adjustment as well. You can see it here. We'll take a look inside. It's a little crusty. I can tell the engine's been sitting for a while. There's a little bit of surface rust on the adjuster nuts and screw. I don't know if you can see that. Definitely on the other side, you can see it. Look at these push rod tubes. Yucky. Nasty. A little rusty, but it's okay. I'd rather have a little rusty. I don't know how bad they are, but a little rust is fine. That tells me that there's no oil leaks. But you want to see the real kicker? You guys might want to sit down for this one. Look at this oil pump. And look at all the silicone they put on there. I guess it was leaking at one time and they didn't pop the cover off or replace the gasket. That would have been so much easier than to add all this silicone. Holy smokes. That is bad. That's one thing. I don't know. But the customer says, hey, I want to get this to run, drive, and stop. And that's all we're going to do. That's what they want me to do, and that's what I'll do. I'll give them recommendations. That's all I can do. Definitely missing the exhaust in the back, so we'll add the heater boxes and do that. I just threw that fuel line in there. So, yeah, need some help. It's kind of a shame that the engine's kind of wonky, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's what you gotta work with. So, okay, I was replacing the fuel pump, and come to find out that this fuel pump spacer was broken. This part was inside of the engine, and this just came out. So a little tech tip if this is broken inside the engine, what I do is to get a 3/8 tap. It doesn't have to be this long. It could be the shorter one. And I start tapping this into the engine like so. And what will happen is it'll start catching. And sometimes this part here will spin. And that way you know you've already caught it. It's already been threaded slightly, and you can just yank it right out of the engine. This shouldn't go down any further. It is tapered, but as soon as you start feeling it to spin, then just start pulling it out. Sometimes these are stuck all the way in, but just take your time. Take your time going at it, and eventually it will come out loose. And if you have any bake light from you threading this in, you can clean up with a small vacuum. Usually it's like a little tiny pile that sits on top of the distributor gear drive, and you come in here with this little tube and just vacuum it out, and you're good to go. So that's my tech tip in getting these out. I know they're a pain, they do break, but hey, not so bad when you got the right tools. Okay, and taking out the fuel pump, I did find something else. This is a fuel pump that you can see if it's sat flat, it's tilted. It's mainly for to clear the generator or the alternator that's here. That's what it's meant for. You can see this foot sticks out further, protrudes through the flat piece. That's how you know which rod to use. And there's two different rods. Okay. This is the one I found inside of it. This is the long 108 millimeter one. Doesn't go to this. If you put the 108 millimeter one, it's definitely going to break this fuel pump. What you need is the shorter one. You can put them side by side. You can tell that one is shorter than the other. You can see that. And this is the correct one that goes in there. So I always like to check that, see what rod was in there. I doubt this engine was running with this pump at all. It's impossible. They would have damaged this right. Or they did and it's already damaged. Who knows? We'll figure that out. But this is the correct one that's going in there. This is brand new. That's what I'll put in. So definitely check this when you're working on any engine that you don't have any information about. Okay, getting back to this engine here, I end up using a different distributor here. I could not get the distributor drive out. It wouldn't come out at all. I made a video, or I showed you earlier, that this was broken. I ended up replacing the spacer for the fuel pump. All the wiring, I checked it. I hooked up the battery. Everything seems to be good to go. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to start her up and see how it sounds. It'll be a first startup. So as you can see, the choker's already on. It's been on. And I did a static timing here. So we'll see. See if it works. Okay, a little concerned. Sounds like there's a little bit of some kind of, to me, it sounds like a rod knock, but I'm not 100% sure until I tune it, make sure everything's good to go. I'll do the timing, I'll adjust the carb, and then I'll assess it from there. But just a little concern. Hopefully you guys were able to hear it. So that'll be the next thing. Just checking everything out. Okay, that about wraps it up here. I did notice that these heater tubes are not, they're not getting warm enough. I'm getting a lot of frost here, as you can see in the picture. They may be clogged. A lot of times they are clogged. At this point, I can't really tune it if it's not warming up fully. So I'll have to play with that a little bit and see what's going on. I also would recommend changing out this carb. It doesn't have a, what do you call it? It doesn't have a shut-off solenoid on it, which is great because these things will run on. Even if it's hot or cold, they'll still do it. And other than that, it seems like it's running okay. I dialed it in a little bit on the timing as best as I could. But again, you can't time it unless this thing's really warm. So I'll let the customer know what I find, what I've done so far. I drove around the neighborhood. I took it through first, second, and third gear, seemed to be fine. I didn't hear any noises. As far as the noise in the engine, that cleared itself out. I guess it needed to be lubed. Other than that, that's what I recommend so far. So let me know what you guys think. If anything you see that I've done or you want me to change or spot anything, it's always good to have a set of extra eyes if possible. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That wraps up the video. So please like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for watching.